forced into this. I think the Pugna was the only way they could try and keep that speed up that they would need with these 4 heroes, and then they look off the Pugna and they're like, okay, what's a replacement for Pugna? What can actually help us Siege try and push this game tempo? And they have to go for the Dragon Knight. And he has been a standby for teams that have the 2nd pick like this, where the not the very last pick, the 9th pick, and they have to get something. But I'm not feeling too great about this one.
I think no one wants to play Shadow Fiend this game.
Shadow Fiend looks decent as well, and the Huskar is good against Dragon Knight.
Oh, Huskar's good too.
And then they have a lot of save, the Tree and the Vengeful Spirit, and Weaver as well for the Roshan as well. So.
Huskar is actually excellent. I think that's the best pick.
I think
it looks really good.
Virtus Pro are just going to leave these fights.
Ooh, okay.
See, they just need high mobility because Mineski has to force the bog, and if they can't force them to fight in this bog, then I don't see how they take these engagements. But
Quaswex is insane this game when you look at it. It's really great against Necrophos. I've seen it a couple times at the group stage. It worked very, very well. It's amazing against Wraith King, drain all the mana. Dragon Knight, similar problem. This hero without mana is actually pretty weak in fights. So this is not what we expected out of VP, but I can definitely see the logic behind it. Okay, a lot of Lakat.
All right, okay. Let's get the thoughts on this draft from none other than Professor Nahaz.
Thank you very much, Cheever. Guys, going into this match, I am looking at the safe lane from Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro, over the last 2 events coming into TI, averaged a 1.5K net worth advantage at the end of the laning phase. That was best of all teams. In this tournament, they are actually net behind on average after the laning phase, and the difference is Ramses. In 2018 LAN Pro Dota 2 matches, he averages 5K net worth at the 11-minute mark. That is #1 among all players. No minimum number of games. The next 7 guys on that list are guys that you've never heard of. In this tournament, he's only 3.7K net worth at 11 minutes. That's not even in the top 25. On the side of Mineski, that support duo has got to clean up their early game. They went Dark Willow and the Undying yesterday. They were 9 of the first 17 deaths in the game. Will the last hope for SEA be able to stay alive here at TI8? And will the TI favorites coming into the event be able to make it through in the lower bracket? To bring you all the action, we've got the original Join Dota bromance. Here is Capitalist and Blitz.
You just had to bring up the J word, didn't you, Alan? It is Mineski versus Virtus Pro, and it's a little bit sad because these two are faced up in elimination. Actually, maybe it's sad for some people, but I know, Will, you love this kind of action, right?
I love elimination games. Somebody has to go home. The tournament, it thins out a little bit.
He's here.
He's here.
He's apparently ready to coach his team all the way through. Virtus Pro, favorites going into this tournament, right? While Mineski, they certainly had a pretty good start to their season once they were able to win DAC.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that Mineski was an interesting team because there's no way that I thought they were going to win that tournament. They took it by storm. They absolutely dominated. They had such wonky drafts. They threw teams off. It was also the introduction of the Pango.
Yes, it was.
Which really helped them a lot, but they haven't really been able to keep that form since.
That's kind of a problem, right? Like, they go in the next 2 tournaments, next 3 tournaments, they place 5th, 6th. All right, apparently Virtus Pro, they have a strategy going into this game already, and they're going to try and tilt Mushi.
The thing about it is you want to play the same way. VP is notorious for tipping. They started this meta.
Yes.
You might as well end it.
You might as well go out of the tournament tipping to the very last.
Of course.
Mineski,
30 seconds.
What do you think about the lineups here? The last pick, we had Virtus Pro with the Invoker, which everyone was pretty excited about. Do you think that's going to be a game winner? We heard the panel actually say the Quaswex Invoker is going to be really good this game. It's just going to tear it up.
It's good against the Wraith King, it's good against the Dark Willow, it's good against the Necrophos. You lack a little bit of damage against the DK in the early game, but for the game pace itself, I think it's very good. And the amount of lockdown that comes on the side of Mineski's side is also very limited. And it does look like they have some stuns, but what you need against a Quaswex Invoker is you need fast stuns or the ability to get on top of him instantly. Because what he has is Ghost Walk and, more importantly, Tornado. As soon as you space into him, he just tornadoes, he can reset the fight for himself.
And a shout out to the 3rd member of this cast, of course, the wonderful Pimp Munkle, who's going to be doing the observing for us. We had the Battle of the Bounty Runes. They were traded out evenly as they were able to push back an Undying. Undying is going to be trying to secure that, that top lane, which is, I thought was going to be really difficult at first, but we're actually going to be having the Treant Protector play bottom lane with the Clinks. So instead, it's just going to be that Vengeful Spirit Weaver combination, which we've seen a lot in this tournament.
And then the minus armor on top of the offensive potential that it gives you. The Venge is a pretty good harasser now with the Wave of Terror. Pasha can't really die up here. It's a core that solo doesn't really need to protect, and that's always been the knock of Vengeful Spirit in this meta, is that she doesn't really have the best laning phase, but when you pair her with heroes like the Weaver, you don't really need to do too much.
Now, William, I'm going to rely a little bit on your mid expertise. I know you're not a mid Invoker player, but you played against enough of them. How does the DK versus Invoker matchup go?
I think the DK will struggle a little bit early on, but just because of the sheer amount of regen you have, he doesn't hit too hard. It should be just fine, as Moon should look to just trade CS for the most part in the early game.
Plus, he's matching up against an Invoker who is going to be going Quaswex, so he shouldn't have that really big damage advantage over you. So CS should be traded pretty evenly, I'm guessing.
Yeah. The annoying part about playing against Quaswex Invokers, once you get low HP, you're always liable for deaths, but high regen paired with the Dragon's Blood makes it a lot harder for you to get the kill combo on the DK.
In which case, we look to bottom lane, where we've got Roger's Treant Protectors trying to protect this bottom lane against the Wraith King and the Dark Willow aggression. Ice is going to be able to cut the creep waves and pull them out. Seems like they feel like it's perhaps a little bit better for them. Maybe it's just about the creep equilibrium and trying to get the Clinks away from that tier 1 tower.
Let's see what kind of trouble.
Jab's going to pick up the Invis Rune. Let's see where he goes. I don't know if he has a lot of kill potential on that bottom lane. Not just yet anyways, as Ramses.
Yeah, it's like
up the Centaur. Maybe he tries to battle for the last hit. Indeed is.
Nice pickup by Jabs, using the Shadow Realm, and gives him a little chat wheel as well. So it does look like Clinks is still free farming. Mushi is doing pretty well here in this top lane. So it looks like both cores are kind of getting what they want out of it. But you also have the off lane cores who are also being able to get some CS. Ninja Boogie is basically just functioning as a wall, right? This is what you do as a support.
Sunflies out. Here comes the Beatles.
They're going to have to try and remove those beetles. Mushi's not actually helping him out right now. Ninja Boogie has so much minus armor. He's going to try and soul rip himself to be able to save, but the beetle is still on him. We've seen other teams, what they do is focus on the beetle together when someone's being targeted like that. Mushi didn't help him at all.
He focused on his own bug, and I feel like that was a huge mistake, because normally you're going to go help the guy who is struggling. You've got Ghost Shroud at all times. He was at more than half HP. I feel like that was a little bit of a greedy play by Mushi.
And that's the danger of this lane, right? Is that Undying may be able to take a bunch of HP and just stole it all for himself, but he's facing up against such minus armor and physical damage that it actually just cuts him down to size pretty quickly.
Another Wave of Terror being thrown out. It's so efficient to just spam those, trade hits. And it's pretty crazy that Vengeful Spirit is able to fight against a Necro Undying dual lane.
Yeah, it just seems like Necrophos is like always going to be able to win his lanes just purely through out-sustaining you. But
and this is where Undying comes in handy. What you usually do when you draft heroes like Undying or Phoenix is you're lacking team fight in your cores, and so you're going to say to yourselves like, oh, at worst we have these heroes that'll back us up, so no matter what phase of the game we get into, we're going to be relatively strong.
Yeah. Back over to mid lane, we do have the Invoker versus DK. DK is actually leading by a healthy amount of CS right now, 24-3 compared to the 16-2 of the Quaswex Invoker. So we could see between not having Exort and then also the Breathe Fire reducing his damage, no one is suffering when it comes to that CS score.
Top lane, gonna throw out the...
They just keep going for him. They don't have the bugs out, so they're just gonna try and threaten Ninja Boogie, force him to soul rip himself. He does have the higher levels of Soul Rip. Bottom lane, they are going to be able to get the Rambles onto Roger, and Roger's just getting eaten apart here. The big crit comes out from Ice early, and it does manage to take the Treant Protector down. At the same time, they did try and go on Ninja Boogie in top lane, but this time around, he's barely able to escape the Wave of Terror. Brings him pretty low. He'll actually TP out.
Reset things a little bit as 1-1. Mineski evening things up. Remember yesterday where they narrowly avoided elimination.
It felt like that TNC in certain parts of that game, they had it. It was theirs. Yeah. And just a combination of probably the stress of playing on the main stage and Mineski just being able to hold out for so long. But this is an opposite kind of situation, right? In my opinion, it looks like Mineski, they're going to have to take more of the early game. They're going to have to be a lot more active than they were in their best one against TNC.
Oh, for sure, especially playing against this Quaswex Invoker, who I think has a very good place in this game at least.
What is it about Quaswex Invoker? What makes a good game for him?
I just think the Tornado EMP combo, if it's good against multiple heroes, your ability to play very fast and not have to be the more one-position invoker style that Weehawk plays, for example.
And you've got 2 strength cores on the enemy lineup that have pretty low mana pools and rely on them pretty heavily. And then the Necrophos never really likes being Tornado. He's going to Ghost Shroud up here in the top lane. They're going to try and jump him. And now you see the problem with part of that Ghost Shroud, you can't get rid of the bug. So if he's left by himself, that minus armor is just going to keep ticking. Ninja Boogie tries to come in, throws out a Soul Rip trying to threaten Pasha's life, but he's more than healthy enough to survive. And in the end, it's VP walking away with a good engagement.
Moon popping that Dragon form. Running at no one. This is the downside, though, of this Quaswex Invoker. You don't have the damage to harass out the Dragon Knight. You don't have the damage to trade out CS either, as this guy is so good at doing so with the Breathe Fire. Yes, he's going to be very good for the game, but when it comes to the pure lane, it's not going to feel too good.
Solo does manage to find the aggressive mid board that was laid out not too long ago.
Did those skeletons go?
Yeah, they're just beating down the tower, and they're having a hard time being able to deal with it. Ice, Ice, Ice cops a lot of damage from Ramses. There is going to be the TP in for the Vengeful Spirit. No one as well, but the Curse Crown will slow him down, so that was great for Mineski. They managed to force a lot of rotations. No one completes his TP. Vengeful Spirit cancels his.
I'm very surprised that he completed that TP. But good reset by Mineski, just forcing some space. Top lane, this is the real issue for them, as the Necro has gone down early.
Part of it's got to be the fact that they've got a Treant Protector, right? So they really want to protect every tower that they have. They don't want to lose one early, and that bottom tier 1 tower did get pretty low. Living Armor is helping it out now.
That's a very good point. It is kind of hurting their lane, though, not having Nature's Guys.
Yeah.
He's not able to trade hits with either the Wraith King or jabs. So he's sacrificing his laning phase just so that he can play this defensive style. And you can see why. You're playing against a Dragon Knight mid, you want your Invoker to be able to rotate around the map.
And here comes the big push. Moon, as the Dragon Knight, will actually show himself in this bottom lane. They failed to be able to pick up a kill, and now Virtus.pro knows the pressure is on. They're already trying to Living Armor the tower a little bit more to keep it alive.
Yeah.
It's a question of whether or not VP are actually going to give it up or not under such pressure.
The thing about playing against Tree is when he gets this early Living Armor, you have to overcommit for towers against. You can't just get it to half HP like that, or you're just going to reset, wasting more time. You're going to lose more and more pressure on that top lane.
Ramses pops a strafe in order to dodge that stun, but means the Treant Protector is going to be left behind here. Ice, Ice, Ice managed to move in front of him here, finish him off with a big crit. Now the Skeletons chase back Ramses, and Moon will take that opportunity to take this tier 1 tower. Jab's going to look for more with that in this round. He can lead off with the Curse Crown and see if he can land the Brambles, but his team's just a bit too far away, and Virtus.pro, rightly so, are playing pretty defensive.
And no one ran all the way bottom, now going to run all the way mid.
Mushi, again, can't get the bug off him right now, so that minus armor is just ticking in. He's got -2 right now. Is able to get rid of that bug finally.
Mid lane, Invoker continues to play reactively, but not really getting too much done. As Mineski, they're going to eye mid. Want to make that rotation, but Dragon Form has more or less faded. Few seconds left on that. What you want to do, though, if you're Mineski, is the next catapult that comes up in a minute, you wanted to be able to push that with your Dragon Form, collapse onto the tower. That's why VP, I think, has gone for this tree. You have the ability to just protect the tower against the DK, force rotations, force over commitments. As Ice, Ice, Ice going to go down the first time. VP, let's see if they set up again.
Jab's going to try and intercept here, but he just gets beaten down so quickly. Ramses with all that physical damage, and Jab's Dark Will can do many things, but pre-level 6, there's no immediate stuns to be able to protect a core like that. So Wraith King dies not once, but twice, and that may kind of hurt Mineski's timings, as you said, with that 10-minute Siege Wagon coming up. Where do you think that push is going to occur? Where does Moon want to go?
It looks like top, because I think he anticipates that they'll be ready for mid, and that's why no one, every single time Moon goes somewhere, he's trailing him.
Yeah.
He wants to be able to protect his mid tower. He wants to be able to protect his side lane tower.
Nice Tornado EMP onto the next post. Mushi's going to get popped here. Soul Rip actually does buy him a little bit more time, but he's just surrounded by so many heroes. Pasha is able to get that killing spree. As you said, it just seems like it's so hard to push into a Quaswex Invoker, and on top of that, if they bring the extra numbers, the Tornado is just like the perfect catch to be able to surround a singular hero.
And you can see that he continues to just mirror Moon. But here comes the Siege Wagon, and predictably so, Moon's going to pop his ulti, but I feel like he's just going to get repressed here.
Yeah, he's just going to do a little bit of damage, right? Push back by a tornado or something, and then you're going to have living armor. So this is going to be a frustrating puzzle that Mineski needs to solve. This is not going to be your normal game of Dota 2 when it comes to taking objectives.
Yeah, we saw this oftentimes when we saw Moon play, or when we saw OG play, how Mad plays it. He just saves his towers, sits behind cores, spams Leech Seed. He's very successful in defending your tier 1s.
Didn't we watch TNC match up against OG in the group stage, and that was exactly what lost them the game, is trying to push down these towers?
It was IG.
It was IG.
But it was a similar concept. Just IG was used to doing a lot of chip damage on mid. They overcommitted for the tower twice. They got baited once by Glyph, once by Living Armor, and they ended up just losing the game as a result. I think people are starting to notice more and more this mid tier 1 tower is the key to the game. It opens up so much into the jungle. Bottom lane, Ramsey's going to get stunned up, but Jabs just really fainting, not really trying to do too much. Just Solo does have the swap. Wants to try to get in range. The Shadow Realm has already been blown. Maybe Jabs is susceptible to this kill. Is Solo going to run into him point blank? Here comes a stun.
He's going to be able to get that, and Jabs, well, Ramsey's just a bit too far away, but now with the swap back, Terrorize is going to be too late. So he cancels it, and Ramses will take the kill. Solo, very patient, does manage to find that pick off on the support.
He needed something like that to get going, as 5-2 in kills, but no towers so far. Top one still very healthy. Same with mid, and this bottom tower hasn't even been seen.
Now, we keep on talking about how Mineski, oh man, they can't seem to take towers or anything, but at the same time, Virtus.pro is pretty much putting no pressure on towers at all. They haven't really done any damage whatsoever. Is that fine for them?
I think so, just because you still are playing a very good Crossflex Invoker game. I think this Clinks is going to be very successful in this game too, depending on the speed of the Blink Dagger and the Shadow Blade that comes out on the DK. And the commitment, we've seen this many times before.
Moon's going to go for it. Ice coming in from behind. Is going to be able to get the stun onto Roger. Now, Moon's a little slow to follow that one up, but will be here in time for the refire. The Living Armor's actually keeping him alive until the last couple of shots come in. Ice slowed down with a cold snap, hit by the EMP. He's already dead. And Moon, he's going to be swapped back into the tier 1 tower right next to Ramsey. That is perfect. The Terrorize might just be able to save him alongside that Soul Rip. That might just be able to do it. Ninja Boogie gets a little low, so does Moon, but the Weaver, Pasha, was super scared of going forward, as he should be. They control the Brambles, almost got him killed. About to give up on the Tombstone and give up on the tier 1 tower push as well, it seems, as maybe even Mushi's gonna die here. Gets a little bit of heal on himself. Soul Rip as well. It's not quite enough. Free Fire comes out. Suntroy's gonna miss. They turn around. Reaper side. He gets the kill, but dies in the process.
And they are committing hard for this. And this is how Treant games are gonna look, is your entire team has to come 5-man just to take tier 1 mid towers. And you can't just overwhelm in numbers. You have to dominate the fight so that you have enough heroes to push the tower after that.
It makes it just super awkward, right? Like, especially with the way the VP is playing, where I would say that all three of their cores are very tough to be able to jump on. Clinks with his strafe. You've got Weaver, Shukuchi, and then this Quaswex Invoker is so fast that they're playing like super defensive. You have to dive way behind these towers just to be able to get the pick off that gives you the control of the area in the first place.
Exactly. We saw that in the IG versus OG game where IG would kill 3 heroes, but they would lose 3. They'd have to back up.
And then
Mad would just heal the tower,
yeah,
and then that just completely reset things. And you see that Mineski is kind of running around a little bit aimlessly because they're probably in a similar position as Ramses. Gonna get dusted up. Jabs the follow-up.
Needs to be able to land the Brambles here, and he does. The Curse Crown follow-up. They're going to be able to get a lot of magic damage on him with the Bedlam. Pasha's trying to take it up, but gets up on it in the end. The Overgrowth, they're going to try and focus on the Tombstone. Nice 3-man tornado into the EMP. That's going to burn everybody up. Dark Willow's already dead. Moon has no mana to be able to work with. Can he TP away? Pasha is going to try and hunt him down, but he does have a lot of armor. It's going to tough kill to be able to get, but they slow him down, and it looks like Moon pops the mana, does manage to get the Shadow Blade off. Fortunately, Solo on the spot with the Sentry. Pasha gets a mega kill streak as they pick up a 2-for-1 special.
In mid though, Ice commits a stun. And he halfway committed to that tower push, but again, the Living Armor. They do get the kill on the Clinks, but what a setup by the tree ults. And you can see that VP is committed to this defensive style. Defend your towers. It's okay if people get pickoffs because you can play reactively. I think that's the point of their lineup is Mushi doesn't have the ghost shot anymore, is going to cop a lot of damage. Solo getting closer.
He wants to swap real badly, will be able to get into low ground. Mushi's going to run the other direction though, but with the sun out, Mushi is still dead. The Terrorize comes just a bit too late. He does run into the Brambles, going to be caught by the Bedlam as well. Ramsey still has tons of HP though, and Jabs will give up on that attempt. In fact, if anything, he's got to be a bit scared of Solo.
So Ice gonna try to reset things a little bit, play this bottom area like he normally does. And once again, Moon, you see that he pops his ult on timing with the catapult. This is almost muscle memory for him. But the annoying part is it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
It just gets reset time and time again by that living armor.
You know what I really appreciate is Virtus Pro reading the game and giving up their safe lane tower.
Yes.
But just hard defending everything else. And now that the Clinks is online, they can be the ones to be taking towers as Clinks just makes short work of that. Doesn't even have the Desolator yet. He's actually got it in his stash. So the next tower that gets assaulted like that is going to fall even faster.
But Mineski still not in the worst position ever. Their Dragon Knight is incredibly farmed. They still have pretty good heroes in the Wraith King and the Necro for fighting. The Undying Tombstone is never meant to be underestimated, but we see the Dota plus win probability is in VP's favor right now, and I would agree. Things are slightly tilting their way.
They do have a couple different forms of hard initiation for Mineski that was missing earlier. Ice. He does have the Blink Dagger and he's going to be able to jump in the back lines. Moon is going to have a hard problem with Pasha, but at the same time, a beautiful tornado comes in, stops a lot of jabs damage, almost able to finish up No One, but can't quite do it. No One, Ice actually going to go for the Blink in a second here. They managed to get the Reaper Scythe on him. That is a big time kill, and now they can turn towards the Tree Protector, take him out, no more living armor to be able to worry about. Mineski has control of the mid lane and should be able to take the mid tower finally.
Oh, they overcommitted for that part as VP thought that 3 heroes were enough. They dove him under the tower.
Oh, they just keep on going. They're going to be able to find Solo's Vengeful Spirit as well.
This is uncharacteristically sloppy by VP. You bought 3 heroes to a 5-man game as Mineski. They're going to grab this mid tower and they're going to be so happy at doing so. Because VP, if their heroes are alive, they can just extend this game like this.
Yeah.
Every single time that Mineski goes for a fight like that, as the stun flies in, Ice. No follow-up though, just trying to get him off of that tower. They want a hard commit for this tier 2. They've got a lot of heroes here.
12 more seconds till the Invoker is back up, and Mineski are going to give up on the tier 2 push. Seems like they're just a bit too afraid of overextending themselves like they saw Virtus Pro just do. Solo's just going to keep in pace here with Ninja Boogie to make sure he gets the Magic Missile as soon as the rest of his heroes are here. Ninja Boogie just separated from his team a bit too much, and as a result gets caught out. Virtus Pro, now it's their turn to see if they can push onto a tier 1 mid, but there's a Siege Wagon putting some damage onto the tier 3. I guess it really doesn't matter though, again, when you have a Tree Protector.
What I'd really like to see VP do is take this mid tower, smoke, take a fight, go Roche. It's hard now though, now that you've lost that bottom tier 2 tower, and there's going to be pressure there at all times. And VP, that mistake is going to cost them pretty big. They had so much map control, they could have played this game over and over again. Now Mineski have opened up themselves. It's VP.
I really like your smoke idea, just because it seems like one of the big advantages Mineski has right now is their forms of initiation. Yes. Both the DK Shadow Blade as well as the Blink. If you smoke up and you get the initiation on them, takes away that advantage. And a lot of these heroes do crumple under pressure pretty quickly, like the Necrophos and the Dark Willow.
You see that when the Dark Willow gets on top of the Invoker, no one can really play his game, even with the swap. They're going to hunt him every single time because he's the integral hero to this defense. The tree's important, sure, but the Invoker's mostly your offensive utility. He's what's going to hold everyone in check. But VP, and they've got a Deso, they've got the Weaver Bugs, they've got the Wave of Terror, the Vengeance Aura. This is as good of a Roche lineup as it gets.
Yeah, and that's why Mineski can't really afford any mistakes, right?
If you lose one teamfight, VP is immediately going to go Roche at this point because they've taken your mid-tier 1. There's no one in TP2.
They go for the 3-man smoke rotation up to the top lane now.
A lot of pings being sent out.
They do have a scan on the Necrophos to the side here, so they are going to be able to get that 3-man smoke onto the 2 supports, though. They found the Tree Protector. He's not going to be able to get away, and it looks like Jabs will deal with Solo pretty easily. Solo does manage to get a bit distance, and he knows he's just prolonging the inevitable here. Will eventually die. Mineski, a smoke gank that turns into 2 kills, and again, another tower push. This is exactly what you want to see from a Dragon Knight lineup, right?
Yeah, they're doing a very good job of the aggression, and VP, normally the team that makes these moves, actually being beaten to the punch time and time again. As Mineski grabbing all these tier 1 towers, they've got to be incredibly happy with that. Looks like they're going to keep going. But remember, this is the issue with playing against a tree. We saw what happened to that mid tower. The tier 2 just completely heals up to full.
Yeah.
So Mineski, I think they realized that, they reset. The way that it goes for them is win a team fight, pick off some heroes, take the tower. And now they go for the smoke. This is what we wanted to see. Take a fight, go for the Roshan. either objective for me plays.
Use a blade for the Weaver.
They're in fact just going to go for the Roshan. They feel like they're strong enough for this.
Oh, they're going to do it so quickly. And Mineski, it's just so unlikely they check the pit in the right time.
They're pinging right now.
They're trying to, but Roshan's already in half HP, quartered now. They have to get in there right now if they want to stop it. It's not gonna happen. The Terrorize is going to come out a little bit too late, but the Aegis already picked up Mineski on full retreat. Ninja Boogie might get caught solo. Couldn't quite get the swap, as it is only level 1.
Yeah. That's the good news for VP, is because they will always be able to take Roshan very early, very fast. So they can reset things a little bit objective-wise. Bottom tower Mushi has a mech now, an item that I'm starting to see a little bit more of lately.
Do you think it's the armor? Like, that's got to help a lot against so much minus armor from the Clinks and Vengeful.
It's really useful, and the burst after the Invoker uses his combos. You have even a little bit of mana, you're going to heal quite a bit.
It does also mean you are going to be very mana-starved if you get hit by that EMP.
Yeah, Mushi, gonna pop the Ghost Shot, just go for the TP.
Jabs outside the Shadow Realm, he was pulling no one back, and now they're gonna be able to get the stun from Ice. A beautiful Tornado is gonna be able to prolong his life a little bit more. Living Armor gets him some more survivability, and he gets out.
Really needs a Yule Scepter to play against that Dark Willow. Even getting the Yule Scepter, it's still pretty annoying for him. Jabs gets on top of him, lands a Brambles. He is still gonna die. Mushi continues to get tankier, building the Lotus Orb. I like this item a lot rather than going for the plain BKB. You will still get eaten alive by the Weaver and the Clinks if you went for a BKB in a game like this.
22 minutes in, less than 1,000 gold lead. A very even game one between these two Titans. Elimination series.
They're gonna go for the smoke. They want to utilize this Aegis into a tower. This is the standard VP that I like to see. Utilize smokes, get pressure on the map, make the enemy team feel scared.
They saw Mushi head into that area, but rest of Mineski is pushing in behind Mushi.
Oh, look at how smart this is. They're setting the trap. They know.
To the high ground. Solo's going to be the first one in, and may just be the one caught, but he actually gets out just in time. His smoke pops, and they get away. So Virtus Pro, they just kind of feed Solo to the Lions there, but he still managed to escape.
They're going to go for a smoke of their own. They see Ramses in mid. They know that heroes are straggling. And this would be such a clutch gank if they manage to kill him twice here. They know that people are in their own jungle.
Oh, they're going to let Ramses maybe run into them.
This is so smart.
At the perfect time, they're going to be able to get the Sentry instant stun. Life 1, Ramses lives a little bit longer than expected, but now Life 2.
You need to drop the Tombstone.
It's going to be up to no one to hit the big Tornado to be able to save him. They managed to get the swap back to Terrorize. On to 3 in the back line. That's a beautiful play from Jabs. The Tombstone will finally go down from Pasha, but Chaos reigns, and it looks like it's going to be Mineski who's taking it. Ramses barely getting away. Outside the Sentry, cut down by the Reaper's sight. Roger's going to be up next with the Cursed Ground. No one trying to protect him. A big Meteor comes in, but he's not an Exort Invoker, so that does very little damage whatsoever. Tree Protector's down. Pasha's going to come in with the Fuse Blade. They do manage to get the Magic Missile. They're focusing on the tankiest hero of all, though, and now the support already dead. Bedlam coming back up from Jabs, takes the opposing support, but finally they do manage to finish off Boone. So Mushi and Jabs will limp away from Pasha, a bit scared. Mushi, nice Tornado there from no one, so it looks like they are going to be able to get the extra hero kill. Diffuser Blade slowed down, and Mushi falls. A triple kill for Pasha. It did cost them a buyback there, but it seems like a fight well worth it for Virtus Pro.
It just took a little bit too long for them to kill the Clinks twice. It was a very nice trap, but VP, they thought they were a little bit closer to the tier 1 tower. They responded very fast.
Yes.
Double damage.
Pasha gonna run into Jabs for half a second, but reset a little bit. And this is what you need to see out of VP. The ability to 5-man. This is always going to be their strength, as we see once again how this fight starts. The swap to save Clinks for a little bit longer. The Tornado was so perfect.
I can't help but thinking that Terrorize and how they ran into Mineski and stayed together in that regard really worked well for Virtus Pro. Because then they're actually able to keep fighting.
Still a very close game. You can see both teams. Oh, they wanted so bad, Cap, especially Mineski. They were so close to elimination.
Yeah, they almost got taken out by TNC, and they were a team who came into this tournament looking very hot. A lot of the teams were saying from scrims that Mineski was looking really good.
Yes, and backstage also, we ran into KP, who thought that Mineski was going to lose yesterday, but said they're kind of playing with a new fire now. VP, the tournament favorites. What a way it would be to go out this early for them.
And Virtus Pro, their lineup just got a whole lot stronger. They're about to finish up the BKB on Ramses, and then he also got the level 15 talent, which increases your searing arrow damage as well. So those are big power spikes, and Mineski already lost the last fight. They're going to need a bit better execution if they hope to take the next one. Pasha actually with the BKB as well. And you saw in the last team fight, he started dealing with the tombstone first, but just slowly over time, he did manage to do a good amount of damage. He's currently sitting top of the net worth after that team fight.
Yeah, his positioning in the fights, Pasha, really showing himself as a core. And that's what I mean about the Invoker. You can play Quas Wex when you have two cores that can deal damage independent of you. And that's what he has in the Weaver and the Clinks.
He just needs to focus on being able to get those good disables in, right?
Yeah, and they're going to take another fight. VP, this is, like you said, a very big power spike for them. No reason to wait for no one's his own BKB or his Aghanim Scepter. Both your cores are in fighting shape.
Is there anything that Mineski is waiting on?
A Radiance on Ice Ice Ice. That's why they're not taking this fight or hard committing for it. They're sort of dancing around poking, letting Mushi sit in front with his Lotus Orb.
They would love just for another minute to go by without VP trying to push. Because then they'll have that Radiance, it'll be a big difference. But I mean, I can't help but feeling like the double BKB pickup now. Virtus Pro, they are going to come in, trying to go on to Mushi first. A beautiful overgrowth out from Roger. Snuck in from the side, will be able to control the two supports. Ninja Boogie's already gone. The Cursed Crown does manage to stun up. They actually spot out the Tombstone. They're going to reveal it with a Sunstrike so Pasha can focus it down. Slowing down Mushi with the Diffuse Blade. Swap back, Terrorize. It's going to come in with the BKB activated by Ramses, means that he is not deterred whatsoever from his prey. He will be able to bring down Mushi and take the tier 2 tower.
And Moon didn't even respond to that. He was farming neutrals the entire time that was happening, and if that was going to happen, Mineski should have known about that. At this point in the game, everyone's going to 5-man. You're seeing time and time again, whoever goes to the 5-man first is winning the fights.
Do you think that's just a communication problem, like everybody just not being on the same page?
It had to have been, because Mineski were poking up. Maybe Mushi said, I'm strong, I've got Lotus Orb, they can't kill me. And that's why he decided to stay up there.
Boy, could not be more wrong about that. Now, Ice 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 will be able to finish up that Radiance, has it now, it's going to work on the Aghanim Scepter.
He walks up here.
Ice 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 left, and jabs. By himself, pushes. When does Mineski really get back into this game, do you think?
I think they're still fine. Their team fight is still very good. They've got very tanky heroes. Their cores are always going to be pretty decent at scaling. Especially with Ice 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 getting the Radiance.
Then in that case, how do they take the fight? What can they do better?
Take the 5-man together.
Okay.
They would have won that fight without the Aegis. The previous one?
Yeah,
don't be afraid to go for the team fight. Your team is still really strong, especially once you get on top of VP's heroes. Now it might be a little bit too late because of the BKBs, but VP committing for this. They're all here. Sentry's been dropped.
Got to be careful to swap. Clutch Lotus Orb timings can protect you from that.
You've got the Aghanim Scepter now on the Invoker. I think for VP now it's go time as Ramses holding the high ground area.
With that double damage, he's going to go straight 3 shots. Ninja Boogie instantly gets stunned up with the Dragonite, though, with the Terrorize coming in. They do have really good control, but running into the Brambles, Moon pops his BKB, but his damage, it just doesn't look great. Now Ram's going to be able to pop his BKB in turn. So, very beautiful overgrowth there from Roger in the back lines. Does manage to control up all these heroes. Ramses focuses down Moon, turns, finish off Ice 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 as well, who does still have the reincarnation, but again, he just doesn't really have a whole lot of damage to back it up because the rest of the team is being forced farther and farther back. Pasha just keeps on pushing Mushi farther away with the Diffuser Blade. He takes away all of his teeth, and now Ice 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 is going to die a second time. Mineski ripped apart by Virtus Pro and executed 1 by 1.
And VP remembers, oh yeah, our 5-man is always going to be strong.
Yeah.
This is what VP Dota's been about all year. Their ability to take team fights, outplay you, put pressure on you at all times. This is more like what I'm used to seeing is they're going to probably grab this tower. No one starting to pressure mid, knows that the rest of his team doesn't need him here with 4 heroes dead. And this is going to also set up for the next Roshan that's going to respawn in a minute and a half. That's going to be so big in determining how the game goes. If Mineski can defend that, you can sort of reset the game. If you can't, then you're going to give up Aegis Cheese with no tier 2 towers left alive.
It seems like almost do or die for Mineski in some ways.
Yeah, and their team is very good at fighting around the Roshan pit.
Yeah.
The Undying Tombstone, the Dark Willow Terrorize, but that's probably one of your last hurrahs against this lineup. Because the BKBs are so strong, and the Deso Clinks does not care about any of your cores right now.
That's why they really need to get a strong initiation. We saw from this last fight. I mean, Ramses just starts it, making it a 4 versus 5 by 3-shotting Ninja Boogie. And while, yes, he did get instantly stunned afterward and controlled, Mushi's so far away. You can see Roger on the right-hand side slowed him down. Pasha just focused him as well, slowing him down with the diffuser blade. So if they don't have their Dragonite, Wraith King, and Necrophos together, focusing one hero down, he's just not going to be able to do anything. Back into the game, Ice is already dead. Jabs, he gets taken down as well next to the Roshan pit. You can see Mineski already trying to exert some control over this pit area, but Virtus Pro still managed to lock it down.
Yeah, now they're getting, I think, a little bit desperate. They're starting to sense the pressure. They know they're far behind. They know that VP can take Roshan at a moment's notice, so they just have to send bodies in there. They don't have the best ways to just check it for free cap, short of just sending in their courier to die.
Right.
And because you've lost your tier 2s, you don't really have vision around those areas. You have to play deeper and deeper. It's scarier and scarier. And that's why you see the vision represented. They have this ward up here. Doesn't really help them out too much. It's one of those wards that you just place because, well, you can.
Very defensive in nature, but doesn't give you any real good idea of what's happening in that Roshan pit.
Yeah, that's the bigger side effect of losing these tier 2 towers early on, is that your supports just have to play a more and more dangerous game. Look how quickly this Roshan falls. They've even got a medallion.
I mean, he literally just spawned and he's gone. Aegis and Cheese, VP. No one's on it. So now you've got a second life on 2 of the Virtus Pro heroes. If there's any time that Mineski needs like the perfect initiation, like being able to jump no one and blow him up before the cheese or something, like it's got to be now. Because next up they're going to have to deal with a Clinks with Scythe of Ice. Pasha is still continuing to grow as well as he's going to go for Nullifier.
Ramses pretty much has a Hex. Their items just continue to scale. That top fight just swung things so hard in their favor. They got so much map control out of that. I think it's just completed on the Weaver. What else is there? If you look at Mineski, I don't really know what items they're waiting for next.
Yeah.
They were losing the fights with the items that they have right now, and unfortunately, you're probably going to have to take a fight with those same items.
Yeah. It just felt like the BKB timings of VP was what was going to turn this game around, and Mineski are going to struggle until the BKBs get really low duration or something. Maybe in the super late game, Mineski will feel a lot better about the team fights, but for now, they're dealing with a Pasha Weaver that's 12-0-7, has not died once in this game.
Gonna try to sandwich Mineski holding this high ground shine area, but they're gonna get swapped back in.
Into the side of the Vice. Ramsey's already managed to take down the Wraith King. The Reaper Cyclones come in, finish up the Train Protector. Solo is looking a little lost as well. Ice in round 2 with the Cataclysm coming down. Ramses will take him out first. You can see Jabs tries to go for the Invoker, but he gets Deafening Blasted back. Back to the Shrine he goes, joining the rest of his team. A 1-for-2 trade-off there. Fortunately, it was the target of the Wraith King that made that fight okay for Mineski.
And Roger with the instant buyback. Thinks that they can do a little bit more here.
Seems very ambitious. Maybe with the Dragon form coming down, they feel very good about this next fight. The same goes with Reincarnation, I guess.
And their ability to re-engage and fight is stronger because they have a Hex.
Yeah.
And they still have an Aegis. I think they want to still utilize that timing. They know that the Wraith King, when he respawns, won't have ulti. They're going to send some heroes back, but Roger did feel a little bit preemptive, and now no one going to go back, defend his bottom tower. They're going to reset a little bit. Still a 9k gold lead.
Mineski taking a look at some items. He's actually got 3,300 gold right now on Bushi, so he's kind of approaching that new item phase, but he actually has nothing queued up right now.
Ninja Boogie, you're dead.
Ninja Boogie, poor guy. Just not a whole lot you can do. There's no escape mechanisms for an undying. You may be tanky, but just means Pasha will need a couple extra seconds to bring you down.
Pasha's 13-0 in right now.
Yeah.
He has been everything for his team. You need these kind of all-star performances in elimination games, and he is delivering here on the main stages. VP threatening the high ground here. Here comes the swap. The Lotus Orb, though.
That was a beautiful pickup. The double damage onto Ramsey is going to be dispelled by the Yule Scepter. Trying to deal with him, but the Scythe of Ice comes out. He will be able to get the Dark Will. The Force Staff was not enough. Give him time to pop the Shadow Realm. Now with the buybacks, Virtus Pro are going to back up. They took the tier 3 for some buybacks. They feel pretty good about that engagement. Now they can take shrines at their leisure.
Dire's bottom shrine.
That Aegis is going to be wrapping up soon, but I don't suppose Virtus Pro is in much of a hurry. Lincoln soon for no one, which will make the initiation a lot harder as it is, again, the single target of both the Dragon Knight and the Wraith King that's usually going to be starting these fights, so.
They don't have any items that are going to dispel or break the Lincolns.
Yeah.
Quite difficult for them.
Best they can do is just like try and initiate at the same time with each other. Maybe use like a long range Soul Rip or something. That's gonna, you know, a relatively useless spell that you could start off the fight trying to proc the Lincolns.
I think a problem with that is that the Weaver has 3 defensive abilities.
Yeah.
You've got the Shikuchi, I guess 4, time-lapse, BKB, Lincolns. Which has so many different ways. As long as you get the time-lapse off or the BKB off in time, you're almost definitely going to live, as 16k is the lead at 36 minutes. We saw them do it yesterday with a fortuitous DD route.
Ice is found with that extra attack range he got from the level 20 talent. He does manage to bring down the Wraith King once. Can he do it a second time here? Ice is going to go for the TP out with the side device on cooldown. And since Ramses is not with his team, whoa, jabs! Gonna go for a terrorize here, but he still has living armor and the death back. Bedlam just not really doing a whole lot of damage. Jabs. Oh, side device coming up. 1 second. It's gonna be close, but he does manage to complete that TP.
And now there's no terrorize for the high ground attempt.
Yeah, no reincarnation, no terrorize. Virtus Pro. They're gonna let Pasha do the work here. As again,
the swap, Solo posturing up, trying to move forward.
Managed to get a force staffed in, but no follow-up disabled. Now Moon does manage to get the Reaper side coming down and does manage to finish him off. That is a big kill. Mineski needed that to be able to hold this high ground. Solo in the middle of it. He's going to be next one down. Ramses, as well as no one, trying to back away. Mineski on the hunt, though. They really need these kills. They do manage to get the dust. Ramses is a bit slowed down. Moon spots him, does manage to get the stun. Follow-up Cursed Crown, and it looks like it is going to be Ramses down as well. What a turnaround from Mineski.
Wow, Mineski. They did it yesterday. They managed to hold the melee barracks, which is even more important. They're going to go for the immediate smoke down into the bottom lane. They want to force buybacks.
A double siege wagon push too. This is perfect. They can force the buybacks. Mineski might just be able to strike a significant blow against Virtus Pro, or maybe even win the whole damn thing with just one swift move.
If they could kill no one here, that's the big hero, as they're going to represent that they have heroes down here. They're going to push in both lanes at once. Ice with the skeletons in this mid lane. 11k is still the lead for VP. They don't want to use buybacks.
Now the buyback comes in. Moon's going to be slowed down by that ice wall. And Ice will join his team as he took the tier 2.
They're going to cut the lead further. Mineski breathing life into this game once again. They've got the gem now on their side. They've cut the gold lead under 10k. Maybe this might just be the beginning of another miracle run.
What a gigantic swing. You can see the win probability still in the favor of Virtus Pro after that, but I can almost guarantee that it was looking good 70-75% for Virtus Pro before that team fight. Next up, probably going to be Roshan for the coming objectives, and the BKBs from Virtus Pro are going to be ticking a bit low now. So Mineski, again, got to be feeling good about these next couple of fights.
It is going to be annoying for them, though, at all times, because they've lost so much map control. They have to check on Roshan all the time, because VP can take it so fast. That is VP's greatest strength in this game, their ability to just instantly go for the Roshan. But for Mineski, you do have an opening window where this Weaver doesn't have buyback. And if you manage to chain your spells together correctly, you grab him, you can still win this game.
You're going to need perfect execution. Be able to catch Pasha out, as he has been very fast, but you can do it.
Finally got some items coming in for Mineski. Ice has that Aghanim Scepter now.
That's got to be pretty big. A dragon form Dragon Knight, even if he goes down, can keep on pushing out damage. We saw actually in the earlier series, it's actually super good with the Undying.
Yes.
Because if he pops the Flesh Golem, you still get that Plague Guard to put on the enemy.
And they're smoked up. Solo holding this high ground area. They might just find him first. They are.
Solo's going to be the smoke breaker. He will almost immediately fall. Not really the pick off that Mineski was hoping for, but still. A hero down for 50 seconds is a good chance for Mineski to take control. Probably not enough for them to push for high ground or anything, because Roshan could spawn in 5 seconds time. So it's one of those kind of leery part of the games where you're not really quite sure what you want to do. Don't really want to get too offensive, lose a fight, and then just give a freebie to Virtus Pro.
Yeah, protecting the Roshan is the most important objective right now for Mineski. Take the fight well, you win the Roshan, and suddenly the game could even out. And I thought this was all but over, but Mineski, they're battling for it every step of the way. No free wins here in elimination games.
big scary part is we saw that Skeleton King and how quickly he took down the tier 2. Living armor is nothing to him, right? And he is coming into level 20 where there is the skeleton spawn talent, but considering he's facing up against Fuser Blade, I see it likely he goes for the mana cost.
He doesn't always want to hold on to this wand. You see that he has 2 mangoes queued up.
Yeah.
This is all very annoying for him. Now he's going to get his level 20.
All right, it's Roshan time.
It's so fast. Mineski, you have to be in position for this. Ice, ice, ice. Trying to waddle his way over. Let's see how fast this goes down. It's going to be incredibly quick.
Oh, Jesus, look at it. It's just falling so quickly. Tornado looking to intercept. It's gone. It's gone, just like that. You have to be perfect with your timing if you're Mineski to ever hope to steal a Roshan away from Virtus Pro. And
yes. That's what I'm talking about. It's so easy for VP to do this. They've got good map control. The heroes can split the map. They can win the vision game with the heroes that they have. But Mineski, they're going to go for the smoke anyways. This is a really bold timing.
I like this, honestly. This is pretty cheeky. You don't back up. It's a Refresher Shard, Cheese, Aegis. Like, Virtus Pro has all these different advantages. You would expect that Mineski would not want to fight into that, but that's exactly why they go for the smoke, right? Virtus Pro, with an Aegis feeling confident, are going to split up a little bit.
They've got the gem. They might just run into no one here. This would be a huge pickoff. He doesn't have BKB.
He just used Tornado as well. They're going to be able to find him leading up. Got the instance on. Moon lands it with the Dragon Tail. That's going to be no one dead for 90 seconds.
They're not just holed up inside their base. Mineski are making a show of this. They're trying to play to win right now. Not just holding the high ground, idly waiting for VP to suffocate them.
Double damage.
Mineski, they see another buyback they can force.
What a game this has turned into is now VP, even with the Aegis. You most likely have to blow the buyback, but you have to start the fight first. Where's the swap? Here
swap back into the inside device. Ramses as well as Pasha. Going to try and beat him down with the double damage on Pasha. They may look pretty easy, but now it's going to be Ninja Boogie caught in as well. Really good terrorize out. They just need to try and get out. They force the buyback out to no one. Mineski have done their job, even if they get 2 heroes picked off. As long as the rest can escape, there's still light at the end of the tunnel. There's still 2 heroes down with no buyback.
Yes. It's still 3 minutes for Pasha. Did have a DD rune. That made it really easy for them to cut into that DK.
And Nullifier is almost here for Pasha. And that, we've seen how he's just been plaguing Mushi this entire game. And if he could prevent him from being able to get off Mech, Shivas, Force Staff, all those items.
They're going for it with this Aegis. They want to force a buyback of their own. Mineski, how do you hold here? The DK instantly buys back. VP still going for it.
Managed to force out a BKB on Pasha. That's a big win for Mineski, especially since their Dragon form was still on cooldown for 40 seconds.
They're going to hold things for now, and VP is going to reestablish the map control, get the shrine, kind of calm down. And I think they need to slow down the game in their heads. You still don't have buyback on 2 different heroes. You get caught at this point, it's still an absolute disaster.
They could just prolong it until the next Roshan. Buyback's coming up. Feel pretty good about just a total reset of this game. Mineski, on the other hand, they want to keep up the pace, right? Just keep on trying to attack Virtus Pro. After all, now's your chance.
You want to split heroes up on the map, anticipate VP going for this map control style, but VP now just going to 5-man. They've taken the shrines. There's no real items that they need to grab that are absolutely crucial to this game. Maybe some MKBs. Pasha should probably just stay for his buyback instead of completing this nullifier.
Level 25s are coming in for some heroes. Dragon Knight's really close. He does have that plus 40 strength, which is a significant upgrade in tankiness as well as damage for the hero. Could go the prolonged stun. You see Invoker, Weaver, and Clinks are all closing in on their 25s, and there's some pretty potent ones in there.
Mid lane getting kicked out. Mineski, they're worried about some sort of smoke play to their mid. VP just going to reset.
They think like Mineski would show ice, ice, ice. And he's a hero that you're unlikely to gank, and then the other forward like go for a smoke.
Strike flies out.
45-minute bounty runes. Virtus Pro just want to keep that gold going. After all, they need a lot more on Pasha for him to buy the nullifier and still be able to have buyback in the future. For whatever reason, he buyback up in 30 seconds, so it is about the time to start stocking up.
No one. Still really far from his own buyback. Mineski. Around this area still.
You know what I love?
They just wait for the Aegis.
You're saying, like, Virtus Pro, you need to calm down. Just slow down the game for yourselves. You know, you got picked off one too many times. You gave away some of your lead. You know what they do? They back up, just play some chat wheel. That's their camaraderie right there.
They're just chilling now.
Yeah.
They need to slow down the pace of the game. It's easy to get overexcited at a tournament like this, continue to make sloppy moves, and it's so easy to spiral out of control at a tournament like TI. Especially when you've got elimination breathing down your necks.
There is both the Vlads as well as an extra 15% Vengeance Aura damage out of that Vengeful Spirit. That is pretty big, just because you can't really take the Vengeful Spirit out of these fights. Even if she dies, she comes back with her Vengeful Spirit, and she's still giving this massive amount of armor aura as well as damage to everybody.
You see what Pasha did, by the way? He switched his build completely. Instead of finishing the Nullifier, Pack just goes for the Aghanim Scepter, and I think that's going to change the way that he plays. He wants to just sit behind people as solo. Going to get run into here. He swaps in Roger. He gets the blink off.
That was beautiful. Great teamwork there. Mushi, they're going to need to try and take the bug off him. Tornadoed in the air.
How do you take this fight? VP.
Rambo's come out. They already got the sights of eyes onto the Dark Will. They need to be able to take out this big team fight, but too much heal comes down. He does manage to get the Shadow Realm up. Cut down. Ramses, he's already dead. Pasha pops his BKB and runs away with Max Shukuchi. Mushi looks to be able to slow down these heroes. Does manage to get the Shivas. Nice tornado turnaround though with the Ice Wall on top, the two of them. Cataclysm out. A lot of it dodged. Turn around, stun onto the Weaver, but they want to be able to finish up this solo. The Vengeful Spirit is the easy hero to pick off. Finally, the Dark Will does die. The Aghanim Scepter from Ice allowed him to get a little more out, so they actually traded supports towards the very end there. Mineski.
Grabbing the kill onto the Clinks, that's the big target. And Mineski, they're still showing that they can win team fights. Despite this gold disadvantage. Battling back slowly but surely.
Ice has got a sick combination. The Nullifier into the stun. He could just take one of these heroes out of the fights. He's still got to deal with the Lincolns, but a hero like the Clinks, perfect target for him.
Do you have the level 25 on the DK now? That 40 strength, he is so tanky.
So you said Aghanim Scepter for Pasha, that's going to change the way he's going to play. Can you explain that a little bit?
He's just going to bait his teammates, bait his cores, wait for them to go in, reset it. Because he knows that he's still liable to die. So is the rest of his team. You saw how fast that Clinks dies?
Yeah.
But if he's in position, gets in range, especially with your level 25, your 200 Shukuchi boost speed, your positioning is always going to be good enough to get the time lapse off for one of your two cores. And I think it's so important in this buyback era to be able to save them.
You could see Mineski got a lot more out of being able to farm rather than hero kills.
This 9k gold deficit doesn't really feel like much.
Trying
what
to
matters
stop.
more is going to be the buybacks and who can win the team fights.
Tier 2. Stay alive for now. Not sure if Virtus Pro, this is a place they really want to make their stand.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Gonna pop a glyph even, with the living armor, heal it up a bit more, and well, they do manage to stare down Mineski. Mineski, first one to blink and back up.
The next Roshan though, is about to spawn. You've given it to VP 3 times and you still made this game close. Imagine what the game looks like if Mineski take any of those.
Yes. They're going to have the Aghanim Scepter coming in. If they can actually get the Aegis, say they give it to Mushi, he can buy out, get the Aghanim Scepter, and being able to have that low cooldown of the Reaper side can really make a big snowballing effect in the late game as you continue to get those long death timers on the VP side. Bugs come out, trying to scout. Virtus Pro, very wary of this area. Moon's going to be farming up the Ancients, the rest of his team right behind him. Ice, spots Pasha for a moment, and Terrorize comes in a little bit too late. They already got the BKB off on Moon. He is super tanky. Ramsey's having a hard time being able to bring him down. In fact, Moon's going to be able to pop the Dragon Knight and turn and fight him. That's why Ramsey's got to back up. So instead, they're just going to be able to turn, see if they can finish off that Vengeful Spirit while backing away from the Invoker. He managed to get a really good Deafening Blast, holding him in with the Overgrowth as well, focusing on the Tombstone. And now all these heroes caught in the Ice Wall with no BKBs coming in from behind the Reaper site. Not good enough to be able to catch Roger in, but Jabs will be able to finish up at least that Clinks. He immediately buys back, though, looking for the TP in. Ice battling alone next to Jabs, who's going to die soon. The Wraith King Aghanim Scepter is allowing them to do a lot of damage to Pasha, but he still had the time lapse out, so that leaves Moon all by himself, surrounded by too many heroes. Smooshy comes in, gives a little bit of death pulls, but not quite enough. A little bit more. Pasha is able to run down now. Smooshy surrounded by 4 heroes. Smooshy, he's trying to come in and bail out his heroes. The Goatshard's going to be able to buy him a bit more time. The Solar gives a big time heal, and Virtus Pro, now that there's reinforcements from Mineski, they'll back up. A big deafening blast. He sees Smooshy is low on the side and wants to be able to hunt him down, slowing down these heroes, and Mooshy's dead. Down for 2 minutes, 90 seconds on Moon. Ice coming up next. He does have the reincarnation, but Jab, he'll die. Just focus down for the swap every single time by Ramses. It is only Ice, and now it's going to be the Undying Con as well. Ninja Boogie, Virtus Pro, one big fight is all they needed, and they'll be able to take down Mineski not once, but twice in a big team fight in the mid lane, finishing up with Ice. No buybacks on Mineski, and that will be Virtus Pro marching down the lane, pushing into the tier 4s, and taking game number 1, unless Moon, by himself, can somehow stop them all.
He's going to BKB walk in immediately. It was jumped on.
A valiant effort, Moon. 5 deaths, buybacks into another 5 deaths from Mineski. Virtus Pro, I think there's no about it. They just outplayed Mineski in that last team fight.
Especially near the end. They came online.